once again, thank you so much for watching. I've been your reviewer host, Eljay, and I will see you all another time. Farewell.
Phew, done. Gosh, dang, that took way longer than it should have. Alright, well, that's it. Bionicle's finished. Reviewed everything I need to. We're done. I'm really hungry. I'll get something to eat. Grab some cereal real quick. Alright, let's see what I've got. Oh, that's odd. I didn't know that was in here. Should be fine. After a long day of editing and reviewing, it's time for a delicious and nutritious bowl of cereal. Let's dig in. No. No. No! Everyone, and welcome back to another Bionicle set review. Didn't think I was going to be here again, but here we are. Today, I'm taking a look at the 6 promotional Bionicle Nestle crossover sets that were released in 2006. The following sets are set number 6992, Jala Nestle number 6, 6993, Kongu Nestle number 5, 6994, Holly Nestle number 4, 6995, Thok, Nestle number 3, 6996, Radak, Nestle number 1, and 6997, Avok, Nestle number 2. These sets came with Nestle cereal boxes back in 2006 and cost whatever the price of Nestle cereal boxes is. I have no idea. I do not eat or consume anything from Nestle. A couple of quick thank yous, first of all, because this video would not be possible without the following people. First of all, SirPerry, who donated $100 super chat ages ago, and I promised this video to. I'm so sorry it took so long. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for your contribution. It has made this video possible. And secondly, my dear friend Sokoda, who absolutely is the reason this video exists. He put in so much time and effort into researching the history of these models, as well as loaned the models to me for the purpose of this review. So Sokoda, thank you so much. You are a trooper, and you're absolutely the reason that I was able to do this. Thank you so much. That being the case, let's get into the review. And cue the HD audio. So let's take a closer look at these. Across the board, they all feature 3 pieces, with the Praka being comprised of a torso piece, a disc launcher and a disc, and the Unica being comprised of a torso piece, a ripcord, and what looks like a Rotuka-like piece. Let's take a quick look at the Unica first. Featured here are, of course, Kongu, Holly, and Jala. And while Jala looks pretty similar to his set component, and there will be a comparison later, the other two really don't. And we'll also get to that later, so just keep that in mind. Each one of them come with an individual ripcord, all of which are in LEGO colors. My favorite is actually Jala's because it looks like a flame piece. The other two are kind of nonsensical. I guess I can recognize Holly's as kind of like a harpoon, but still. The function is like any ripcord. You insert the ripcord, you pull it, and the disc flies outward. These spinners are a denser plastic than what Bionicle fans are probably accustomed to, that being the Rotuka, and as a result, they don't launch quite as nicely. I actually think they're better compared to spinners, because while they don't fly very well, they do spin for quite a while, so maybe this is my bad for misunderstanding what they're actually for. Build-wise, there's not a whole lot to write home about. The pieces here are actually compatible with other LEGO parts, at least the torsos and the ripcords are. You can take the ripcords and actually put them in the hands of these figures, like they're just holding normal Toa tools. The spinners, not quite as compatible. I'm sure there are ways, but nothing that I can immediately discern. Taking a look at the Paraka, their construction is similar but distinctly unique. Instead of featuring a character holding a weapon, these guys are more like bipods for launchers, having no arms and really just connection points for the disc launchers. These discs are unique to these figures, as all of the pieces for these are. And while they're heavier than most Kanoka discs that Bionicle fans are familiar with, they still work pretty well. You just squeeze and shoot them out. The discs themselves are, again, quite interesting and unique, but you're only getting half of the colors that you would probably want. Considering the design of these disc launchers is so similar to that of the Kanoka launchers from 2004, I went ahead and I took these discs and I put it in a Kanoka launcher. And it kinda works. It's a little bit loose, and I don't know if that's just because of the specific launcher that I have on hand, but when you can get it to stay in there and launch it, it does work pretty well. The reverse is also kinda true. You can take one of the disc launchers from the Nestle promo and put a Kanoka disc in it. This is a very tight fit, and I actually had some trouble getting it to launch. But when it did, oh Nelly, it shot off. The Paraka themselves are very reminiscent of their original sets. However, Avok is noticeably unusual. He's not a one-to-one match with his original set, featuring a color scheme that's more reminiscent of Huki and Nika. This is kind of weird, but I don't mind it, and I think there's a reason behind it. We'll get into that in just a few more moments. In terms of articulation for all 6 of these figures, there is none. They are mostly statuesque, and certainly just kind of neat little fidget toys. They're kind of reminiscent of the Mictoran in a sense, but in my opinion they have less to offer. Now let's take a moment to talk a little bit about the history of these figures. Sokoda did a lot of research, and according to him, according to a website called horizont.net, about 1.2 million of these cereal boxes were produced, and this promotion was part of a bigger advertising push for Bionicle, aiming to market the theme as a license to third parties. This push was supposed to work in tandem with TV spots and in-store events. Some cereal boxes apparently even came with demo CD-ROMs, which potentially had Bionicle heroes, but we're not terribly sure about that. As I mentioned earlier, the interesting thing about these are that the pieces, by and large, are compatible with other Bionicle pieces, and as a result, the greater LEGO catalog. They even have LEGO 2006 copyright stamped on them. Now, while all that is immensely fascinating, it brings us to the question, if this was supposed to be a closely tied-in marketing push, why do the Anika look the way they do? Why don't the Paraka look as kinda off as the Anika do? The reason for that is quite fascinating. No one was terribly certain until around 2020. 3 years ago, Patrick Biggs from BZ Power, otherwise known as DV, a prolific Bionicle mockist, revealed artwork that he had gotten a hold of, original concept art. Apparently, this is early concept artwork for the Paraka. However, it would later inspire the Toa and Nika. These concepts are fascinating and super bizarre. However, you can kind of draw some similarities between these and the Anika figures. It's a really interesting story, and getting a chance to look at this artwork is awesome. So special thanks to DV for providing the Bionicle community with these pieces of art. Finally, a comparison between the original figures that they're supposed to correspond with and the promos themselves. As you can see, the Anika are very strange, with Holly and Jala somewhat resembling their original figures. However, Kongu greatly deviates, not even being the same shade of green. The Paraka, by and large, do match their representations, with Avok being the only one to greatly deviate. As for the box, there are different boxes that these came in that were specially marked as being Bionicle Nestle boxes. However, this one here is just a box that apparently expires now, so I guess I can't eat any of this. On the back, my good friend Sokoda did affix some instructions that he did translate from German. As you can see, there are game suggestions, as well as a scoreboard so you can keep track of points as you compete in these games with your friends. The suggested games on the back are relatively simple and straightforward, so I didn't feel the need to really showcase any of them. You can read them here, just pause the video and check them out. And finally, courtesy of Sokoda, here's a quick look at some of those other original boxes. All in all, these are fascinating figures. This is my first real experience with them, as these were exclusive to Europe and never came stateside, so far as I'm aware. They're an interesting glimpse into the larger catalog of promotional materials that BIONICLE had to offer, as LEGO experimented with branching out in ways to let other people know, hey, these exist, take a look, be interested. I'm not a terribly big fan of any of them specifically. They're very limited in what they do, and what they have to offer is done better and with more features in other sets, such as the disc launching function from 2004 sets, and of course the spinner function from 2005 sets. They're all very quaint, and certainly the most interesting part about them is their history and how they came to be, getting a glimpse at the concept art which some of these designs are derived. That said, I don't know how much I can really encourage people to go out and try and acquire these. They're not particularly fun to play with, again in comparison to other sets, and while they look interesting, they were exclusive to Europe, and as such, are kinda hard to come by. Most people can't even get a complete Kongu, he's just scattered in multiple different pieces across Europe on Bricklink, and even getting copies of these for my personal collection ended up being a tad pricey. So do you really need these to have a complete collection? I wouldn't say so, but your mileage is going to vary, and I can't discourage you from doing whatever it is you'd like to do. At the end of the day, these are interesting, and I'm glad I had the chance to actually learn more about them and interact with them. It was kind of a cool look at something that I wasn't familiar with before, and I hope you all learned something interesting. And that about does it. That has been my review on the Nestle BIONICLE promos. Thank you so very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you learned something interesting today. And with that, I'm done again. I've reviewed everything from BIONICLE, every single set. I just need to update the video, putting them all in one place. But it's fine, I'll get to that eventually. But for now, I am done. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button, leave a comment with your thoughts below. We really appreciate the engagement. And of course, hit the subscribe button if you're interested in more BIONICLE content, but not set reviews, because I'm done. I did it again. I've reviewed every single set. This is like the 5th time I've done this, but we are done. There's nothing left, and there won't be. This was it. Right?